Hi, I'm Howard from Cyber News and Reviews, and this is my friend Nathan, the nerd. Hi everybody! Yes, I am Nathan the nerd, and we're going to review TurboTax 2015. Yes, we are! And I've been reviewing TurboTax for several years, I think since 2008, and it's really a great program. We're going to go through it with some screenshots behind me. Yeah, we're going to have some screenshots behind you here. Yeah, Nathan. And we're going to go through what it takes to put your data into TurboTax. Yes, we are. Except I don't have taxes. Yeah. Yeah, you don't have any taxes, Nathan, because you're a dummy. What? I'm a dummy? Yep, you're a dummy. Oh, okay. I guess I am. Yeah, and I have to control you. Yeah, I think you have your hand in my back. Yeah, I do. It's right in your back. Okay. Yeah, weird. So we're going to talk about what you have to do to enter in your tax information. So first of all, you start out. If you have used TurboTax in previous years, it's great because it will, once you install it, which takes about 10 minutes to install, either on CD or download it. This Home and Business is $80. If you have a business, I don't have a business. Well, I do, and so I need to have the business forms. And previous years, you could get by with TurboTax Deluxe, and you could get your C schedule in TurboTax, but now you're required to buy the business version. So if you buy the wrong version, you're going to have to upgrade. Yeah, you will. That's right. And you really want to enter it. Yes, you do. Yeah, weird. Yep, I'm Howard. Yes, you are. Now, anyhow, first of all, you start with, after you install it, it takes about 10 minutes, as I said before, you enter your personal information. And if you've never used TurboTax before, yeah, I never have, and you probably won't. Oh, yeah, I probably won't. And it's not that difficult. You enter in your name, your address. Yeah, you could do that for me. Well, you don't have tax. But anyhow, you enter your name and address, your social security number, and you start with your personal information and your W-2s. Yep, if you're working, you're going to get those W-2s, aren't you? And you're going to get your 1099s from your banks, and you're going to get all that stuff. Now, if you've used TurboTax before, it will load your previous year's data. Yes, and it'll find your forms and enter the data from last year, like from 2014 for 2015 taxes. And that's exactly what I did. Yeah, I went in really easy. It was really cool. Yeah, it was really cool. Press the button and it just populates all your data, if you have W-2s, your schedules, your 1099s, and your retirement or IRAs, 1099 interest and 1099 dividends. Yeah, it really makes it easy to do that, doesn't it? And it is very easy. And then it's got all the addresses and the accounts from all your institutions, and you just enter in the numbers. And there is an option where you can have it download the numbers for you. I prefer to enter it in by hand. Yeah, you do. That's because you want to make sure it's right. Yeah, I want to enter it in myself because I want to double check it. Yeah, it's a better thing to double check. So it steps you, all the forms are listed, and it's probably, you'll find it, once you enter in your income, and there are deductions and credits and things like that. And if you have a business, there's a self-employment tax, and TurboTax also, some of the new features is it covers your health taxes to make sure you're enrolled in a program. And but when you're running TurboTax, it has an interview method where it takes you step by step. Yeah, it asks you all these questions and can take a long time, but it's very accurate. Yeah, it asks everything that it needs to know. And if you have deductions, it makes sure you get all the deductions. If you have like for your charitable deductions, and if you need to itemize, and so there's four. And every time you finish a section, you review that. You can go back with the back button. Yeah, you can. It's very easy. Just hit the back button, and you can go back and double check your work. And when you're finished with that section, it brings up the section you're working on and all the previous information that you entered, and you can easily go back if you've checked. And there's also a refund meter at the top of the display, and you can see it behind us. And as you're progressing through entering your tax information, it'll show you what refund you'll get or what you won't get. Yeah, that's right. It's right behind us. If you can take a look at that. Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's over there. Now we're facing forward, right? Yeah, we are. So, and then, so there's a lot of things. So there's like 5 different sections, and there's the business tax section, and there's your personal income section. So if you run a business, you'll enter your business information first, and all your deductions and your business income, and if you have rental income, rent. So after you're through with your federal tax, all the federal taxes will go on to your state, and it'll populate the state form. And then you'll answer certain questions that the state requires. Yeah, your state has to get your money too, doesn't it? Oh, yes, it does. Everybody has to pay their taxes. And after you finish the federal form, it'll check for errors, and sometimes it finds errors. Yeah, you just press the button and it looks, and it suggests how to fix the errors. And what I like to do is I like to look at the forms after I'm finished with the federal returns, because I like to double check. And one time I entered estimated tax, and I entered too much estimated tax, and if I had checked the forms, I would have prevented that error. TurboTax is pretty good, but it can't prevent all errors. And sometimes it creates its own errors. Yeah, that's true. Well, over the years we've had problems, but for the most part, it works really well. And when you go on to the state, when you're finished entering your state information, your deductions and certain things, it then also checks the state forms. And TurboTax then, when there's no errors, although there were some errors in ours and I fixed them. Yeah, you had a few errors, yeah, weird. And so after I fixed them, you're ready to file. And TurboTax allows it's free e-filing to the federal, for your federal forms. Yep, that's free. That's pretty good. And you're charged for the state. And it's a good idea sometimes if you have complex taxes to file both federal and state e-file. And you need a PIN number, and you might need a bank account to deposit your refund if you're getting it. Yeah, just put it in your account, and then you're through. You print out the copies of your forms, and then you can sit back and start collecting your information for next year. Yeah, that's true. Gonna have to work on the next year forms too. Weird, right? Yeah. We have to work on next year's taxes now. So you filing electronically, you're allowed up to 5 free returns. But if you're not limited to the number of returns you can do in TurboTax. You're just limited to the number of e-files for federal. You can do as many returns for friends or whatever. Yeah, you can do 9. Well, you don't have any taxes. Oh yeah, that's right. and you just have to print them out. The state costs $25 to file a state return, and once you file, TurboTax says it's successfully sent to TurboTax. Yeah, and it's pretty cool that it does that too. And then about 10 minutes or maybe hours later, when you file your federal returns, you'll get an acknowledgement email that they've received your returns, and that's a great feeling too. Yeah, it is. I had trouble at first because we filed the federal. I was doing my dad's taxes, and then we filed both the federal and state, and about 10 minutes later the federal files were rejected for a mismatched PIN number, but we ended up fixing that. But if you have problems, TurboTax has a very good help. They help you. There's an online help, there's a help menu that has questions that are answered. You can call them, they have a toll-free number. It's not easy to find. Yeah, I know that you called them when you had that problem with your dad's taxes, didn't you? Yeah, well, finally resolved it, but it wasn't TurboTax's fault. It was there was something wrong with federal website or something to do with the account. Yeah, that was not very much fun. Yeah, I thought I was done with his taxes, and I wasn't. And because it rejected the federal, it also rejected the state. But once I fixed it, it was the next day. Filed it, and everything came out okay, and I printed them out, and it was done. Then I started working on our personal taxes. Not mine, right? I don't pay taxes. No, you're a dummy. Yeah, I know. You're a dummy too, hey? Well, not really. You're the only dummy here. Okay. They also guarantee that everything's correct, right? It's really guaranteed. That's really good. Except, if you make a mistake, you can enter the wrong data, and it could be correct. The calculations could be correct, but it could be wrong because you entered some wrong information. They can't protect you for that. But I always double check. I usually look at the returns forms. You can switch over from interview, which takes you step by step through all the information required, and then you can switch over to the forms view and look at what was the forms, or how the forms took your information and where they were in the forms, and you can compare them to last year. I like to do that. Yeah, better be safe than sorry, right, guy? Yeah, I'd rather be safe. So prior to using TurboTax, it took me like a week or so to do our taxes, and to do like 3 different tax forms, it took me like 2 days, and part of the problem was I had a problem with my dad's taxes, and solved it. But normally, if you have simple, fairly moderately complex taxes, it'll take a day, maybe half a day. You can maybe do a simple form in 2 or 3 hours with some breaks. Yeah, it works pretty good, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. So that's about it. And the nice thing about TurboTax is you don't have to file until you're sure everything's correct. You can go back to any section at any time and go double check your data and make sure everything's entered right. If you're new to TurboTax, you'll have to enter in the forms that you're using. If you're not new to TurboTax and you haven't had any changes in your forms, it'll have all those forms up there for you to enter. Yeah, it really is a good program, and I know you're doing it for years. Yeah, and since I started using TurboTax, it's been a breeze to file my taxes. So that's about it, and TurboTax makes it easy to file your taxes. Yeah, it sure does. Yeah, weird. So that's all for now, and the video will be linked on our cyber-reviews.com site, Cyber News and Reviews. Yep, you can go there and take a look at that too. And I'll be doing a written review as well. So, signing off for now. See ya. Bye, everybody.